Natural selection. This is a process that was introduced by Charles Darwin in his book called On the Origin of Species, to explain the process in which evolution occurs through what he describes as descent with modification. This descent with modification is the mechanism behind evolution and leads to biodiversity.
The first step of natural selection is overproduction, which means that more organisms are born than can reproduce. There's a limited number of resources available, including food, water, and living space, resulting in competition between members of a certain population.
Next, organisms vary in characteristics, despite the fact that they belong to the same species. Ladybugs exhibit different patterns. Tulips can be multiple colors. Birds have different shapes of beaks. Out of those who survive to reproduce, these traits can be passed down and are known as heritable traits. The idea is that these will help their progeny survive and continue to reproduce until that trait is dominant in the population.
Some organisms are more apt to survive than others. Those with favorable traits are more likely to live long enough to reproduce. This process doesn't happen overnight. It's a very gradual change known as natural selection. Slowly, the members that are less fit for the environment are weeded out, and over time, you begin to see a shift in the characteristics exhibited by different species in the ecosystem.
Now, we'll be looking at multiple species and discovering how natural selection has made them what they are today.
Giraffes are known for their long necks. However, it wasn't always this way. Their long necks were adapted over time to help them thrive in their natural habitat. Charles Darwin stated in 1872 that the giraffe, by its lofty stature, much elongated neck, forelegs, head, and tongue, has its whole frame beautifully adapted for browsing on the higher branches of trees. It can thus obtain food beyond the reach of other ungulata or hoofed animals inhabiting the same country, and this must be a great advantage to it during dearths.
Dearth is defined by a scarcity or lack of something. The giraffes able to reach the leaves in hard-to-reach places were a lot more likely to thrive in times where less food was present. This gave them the advantage over other giraffes to consistently reproduce, therefore populating that certain ecosystem with giraffes that have long necks.
Next, we have peacocks. The reason that male peacocks are predominantly colorful is because female peacocks are attracted to the largest, brightest tails. This idea was introduced in The Origin of Species by Charles Darwin and is known as sexual selection.
Sharks also have many characteristics that they have developed through natural selection. Great white sharks are dark gray on the top of their body and white on the bottom. This makes them more difficult to view from both angles. Their ancestors had smaller, smoother teeth, which led scientists to the conclusion that they used to eat plants. They have adapted pointier teeth which aid them in eating meat. Their upper jaw is not fused to their skull, allowing them to bite a wider range of prey while hunting. It's clear that sharks have greatly developed over time to help them prosper in their environment.